All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday, January 11th. We have a 5-game NBA slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. We'll talk about it. I'll give you my lean on the spread. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like in the games. But as always, all of my final plays. So what I'm rolling with myself. If you do want to fade my picks and do the opposite, those plays are going to be in the pinned comment. Now, in this industry, you have your good days, you have your bad days, and then you have your great days. Not a 2-0, not a 3-0, not a 4-0, not a 5-0, but a 6-0 sweet. Last night, money guns out, 6-0. Like I said, ups and downs in this industry, but then these 6-0, these great days is what keeps you coming back, guys. We cashed the Kings on the spread. Terry Rozier had like 0 assists. I mean, he had a couple. Thunder come back and cover for us, and Edwards ends with 6 rebounds. The Jazz and the Nuggets go under, and then John Collins, no sweat there, guys. A 6-0 night. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button in celebration of that. And the fun don't stop there, guys. Our ride of the day, Fred has been absolutely electric. He had Jordan Poole over 16.5 points. Cash that as well. Fred has now hit 5 ride of the days in a row on the channel. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, I'm picking someone in the comments and riding with their picks and riding until they get one wrong. Fred now 5 videos in a row. 5 videos in a row. Pumping some damn crowd noise for the man. Shout out to you guys. Use that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. I'm scouting it, seeing who's on fire, who's ready for when their number is called. Fred has stepped up to the plate here. He's approaching legend status over here, guys. You guys probably come to the videos for his picks instead of mine. But again, guys, go ahead and use that hashtag ride of the day and shout out once again to Fred. Let's go ahead and jump into today's slate. Like I said, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We're starting it off with the Cavs taking on the Nets here. So Cavs sitting at 3-point favorites. I was about to say at home, but this is actually a neutral site game here. The total sitting at 225. The spread in this spot isn't really something I'm loving. Both these teams have been a little inconsistent. The one thing I'll say about Cleveland is they are beating sort of the below average teams, losing to the good teams as of late, right? So where do you put this Brooklyn team? If you think this Brooklyn team is below average, then Cleveland should be able to cover this number. If you think this Brooklyn team is just somewhat average, then I could see you making the case for the +3, but because this is in Paris, if I'm not mistaken, right, and it's just a neutral site, I guess I'm going to roll with leaning towards Brooklyn, just getting the points, but I don't necessarily think this becomes a final play. The 2 plays in this game that could become a final play could be looking at the over here, 225. I think both these teams, the defense has been lacking as to what we'd like to see it at, and their offense has started to look, at least on the Cleveland side of things, fairly efficient, like a 115 plus type of an offense. Brooklyn went through that rough stretch where they were struggling to score 100 points. Now their last 2 games, 124 and 127. Now those were against 2 defenses, and OKC, who has a good defense, but they run up and down the court, right? And then Portland, who has a good perimeter defense, but nothing down low. So you can make an argument as to why they scored a lot of points, but I guess we're crossing our fingers and hoping to die here that these offenses continue to do what they're doing, because that 225 is a gettable number. Now, my favorite play in this spot, and this is probably the play that has the highest chance of becoming a final play. We can jump into Outlier here, guys. By the way, if you want this tool, 7 days free with the link in the pinned comment. Absolute game-changing tool. I like Spencer Dinwiddie under 6.5 assists. We cashed this a couple days back, and he just hasn't been having the volume. When you look at his last 7 games here from a potential assist perspective, he's only averaging 11 potential assists, which is right on that line, but usually I take this number and, look at it from a half perspective or even 60%, right? And 7 assists out of this 11 would be right around that number, but again, he just has not been getting there. Last time they played this season, it was earlier in the year. He only had 3 assists there as well in a very limited minute assortment. But Cleveland also covers the point guard position well from an assist perspective, allowing the 3rd fewest. So give me Spencer Dinwiddie under 6.5 assists. Guys, keep an eye on the pinned comment, because that probably has the highest chance of making it into the final plays, but don't love this starter game altogether, to be completely honest. And because that game is overseas, just want to note that I believe that's either a 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's see. A 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game, so FYI. All right, next up, we have Milwaukee taking on Boston. Boston coming off of a thrilling overtime win against the Timberwolves last night. So they're on a back-to-back here, which you could make the argument isn't the best spot for them, right? But that being said, they're 4-2 ATS, so against the spread with back-to-backs this season. And with rest advantages, Milwaukee just 2-7 against the spread. So obviously they're a bad against the spread team no matter how you want to cut it up. So maybe this is sort of a, you know, a no dud type of a stat. But again, with rest advantage over another team, 2-7 against the spread this season. Now I know Boston's probably drained after that, you know, longer than usual game last night, but it's still a relatively, you know, relatively young team and whatnot. And Porzingis didn't get the go. Now he's questionable in this game. If Porzingis plays, I do think that I lean Boston plus the 6 points. I think it's just too many points to give who is, you know, the arguably, or maybe not even arguably, the best team in the NBA right now, right? So give me the 6 points here. Damian Lillard looks like he's coming back as well. He is probable in this game. He missed last game. But again, if this was like Celtics favored by 6, I'm probably not touching it. But you're going to give me 6 points. I don't care if they're on the back-to-back. This is still a bad Milwaukee team against the spread. They've burned us so many damn times this season. So yeah, give me the Celtics plus the points. If you are on the Bucks and you want to fade the Celtics because of the back-to-back, sportsbook seems like they are moving towards another number, -5.5, -5. So yeah, watch that if you do want that value. If you like the Celtics, maybe best to get in early at this +6 number, because I think it's going to be right around like 5 by game time. So, you know, in the sports betting world, those numbers can mean a decent amount. But again, I'm trying to not put too much weight into the back-to-back because the Celtics have been good in back-to-backs this season. Now, the total sitting at 240 here. I like that number. I think this goes up and over. I mean, when we see the Celtics play in big games, you could even make the argument like last night, right? A lot of points tend to be scored. Last time these two teams played, it did get up there, did not cash the over, but a 119-116 game. That was on November 22nd, 2023. So, I mean, a lot of points there, close game, didn't get to that 240 number. But again, this is a back-to-back spot for the Celtics. And I kind of think that obviously, you know, that defense, we know Milwaukee doesn't play that great a defense. Boston has a good defense, right? But on no rest situations here, I'm sure that they'll be a little bit tired. They're 4-2 to the over this season on back-to-backs as well. So I'm putting a lot of emphasis on some of their metrics on back-to-backs here because I think that that's kind of the only outlier, if that makes sense. Like, if this isn't a back-to-back, I don't think Celtics are 6-point dogs. I don't think this total at 240, yada, yada, yada. From a player prop perspective, really struggled to find anything in this game. If I can come up with anything, maybe we'll post a YouTube short. I'll do a quick video explanation and put it in the pinned comment. But as of right now, no major player props in this game. Speaking of player props and not being able to find them, the way that is made easy is by checking out the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, guys. Go to dgfantasy.com or just use the link in the pinned comment. Use code GUYBOSTON, GUYBOSTON. Get 25% off. We can just jump in and I could show you the tool that is, you know, one of my favorite tools in the entire sports betting industry. Guys, if you're on Prize Picks or Underdog or Sleeper or any of these pick'em apps, you need to be using this optimizer. What it does is it compares all of the major sportsbooks lines to what Prize Picks has to offer. Based on the odds that they're offering, they give you a % chance to hit, because why wouldn't you use sportsbooks lines against Prize Picks, right? Prize Picks is not updating these lines as frequently, and the odds aren't taken into account on Prize Picks. So why would you throw in a major juiced play over on Prize Picks, you know, or why wouldn't you? If you wanted to put a +150 pick in Prize Picks, that's not likely to hit, but a -165, -155 pick, like Giannis's under assist, which is the game we just talked about, that could be a great play over on Prize Picks. So really all you have to do is come over here, filter by odds to hit. You can even filter by plus EV plays. You know, say you wanted to put in a 6-man slip. They're going to say, okay, well, technically EV speaking, right? Positive expected value. These picks are the only 3 that are justified to be in there as of right now. But again, this % odds to hit is super, super easy. If you wanted to search someone like a Jason Tatum, I don't know if his lines are out yet. Or if, you know, say Chris Middleton, right? Chris Middleton, his lines will be out. You can see all of the stats that Prize Picks has to offer. And again, this is for Underdog, Parlay Pay, Better, Boom, Dabble, Jock Market, Hot Street Sleeper, all of those pick'em sites, guys. Go ahead and check out again. Use that code GUYBOSTON. You got to use the code GUYBOSTON to get that 25% off. But check it out, dgfantasy.com, or use the link in the pinned comment and that code. Now let's get back to the slate here. All right, we got OKC taking on Portland here. OKC, big-time favorites. No duh, right? One of the better teams in the West taking on one of the worst teams in the West. You have the second-ranked team in the West taking on the 14th, so literally just one remove from each bookend there. I like OKC in this spot. Obviously, that's a big number. They are on a back-to-back, but you're not really going to catch me trusting Portland. Now, I did trust Portland for a little while, but with the injuries that they've had and just sort of the revolving door of cast and crew, it's been tough to get behind them. So in this game here, injuries, we're looking at DeAndre Ayton. He is game time decision. Some sites saying he's out, so that's probably something to keep an eye on throughout the day here. And then nothing really major on OKC side of things. But again, I just can't get myself to totally trust what Portland is doing this season, obviously, right? And OKC, for what it's worth, it's kind of like how no matter how you cut up the Bucks against the spread trends here, it's going to look bad. Well, OKC 4-0 on back-to-backs this season. They are coming off a come-from-behind cover last night against Miami, but again, you could cut up OKC's numbers, no matter how much you want to, and they're gonna look pretty damn good when it comes to what their against the spread numbers and even their over-unders numbers. Like, they run no matter what it is. 4-0 also, or 3-1. Maybe I have those flipped. 3-1 against the spread, 4-0 to the over-under on back-to-back. So give me OKC and the over. I don't know if this necessarily, that OKC -3 makes its way into the final plays, but I do have a couple player props that I really don't mind in this spot that definitely have a chance at becoming final player. We'll start it off. 2 player props that I like on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander here. Under 1.5 3-pointers made is a huge one that I like for him. He's not taking that many, right? In his last, or I guess we could just say on the season, he's attempting 3.5 attempts per game. Now he has cashed the over here in plenty. He's cashed the over in 7 of his last 10 and in 5 straight. But I like the under here because he's going up against Portland, and this Portland team is a team that covers the 3-ball well, covers the perimeter very, very well. Last time he played earlier this year, he had 1 3 against them on just 1 attempt. So he wasn't even trying to shoot the threes, but he's very selective about his 3-point shooting, right? They cover the perimeter fairly well. Another one that I like here for him is going to be his over 5.5 assists. Again, similar thought process. They cover the point guard position really well, and I do think that this is a spot for him to be able to kind of get a lot of attention and dish the ball. And asking for 6 assists from him isn't all that crazy. He's hit the over here in 8 of his last 10. He's hit the over in 63% of games this season, so I like the over in assists for him as well. Now, arguably my favorite player prop on this game is going to be looking at Chetty Holmgren over 17.5 points. This Portland team, especially if DeAndre Ayton is out, is allowing anything inside. Do I wish Holmgren liked to mix it up inside a little bit more for this pick? Yes, but you can confidently take centers against Portland right now, especially centers as talented as Holmgren. So give me his over 17.5 points. I like the player props in this game probably a lot more than either the side or the total, but keep an eye on the pinned comment as always for any of the final plays that we're looking at. And before we move into the Mavs and Knicks game, guys, if you want to check out fademe.store, the merch brand we have here on the channel, go ahead and check it out and use code SWEEP for 20% off today. Because we go 6-0, we got to give back, right? SWEEP, SWEEP. I am a spelling bee champ. Use that code, 20% off. Go check it out, guys. Tons of stuff and tons of new stuff over on the website as well. Great way to support what we're doing here, support my growth, support our growth, and get some great merch at the same time. Go ahead and check it out again, fademe.store. I'll put that link in the pinned comment. Use that code SWEEP, 20% off. All right, Dallas taking on New York. This is a tough one because when I first saw this, I was looking into it and I liked Dallas plus the points, but no Luka is obviously a very tough thing to swallow when you are looking into or wanting to back Dallas, right? So I'm staying away from Dallas here. I'll lay the points as the Knicks because of Luka being out. Lively's also doubtful. Exum's out. Kleba's still out, and Grant Williams questionable here as well. You could look at some Kyrie Irving stats. I'm sure that he's going to have his fair share of shots and everything like that. So maybe something worth looking at. Now his stats are going to be inflated. Like his assist line is usually 4.5 or even sometimes 5.5 on the high end. It's 6.5 tonight. Now obviously that's because Luka's not playing, but even without Luka here, I don't necessarily think that this is an absolute lock of a spot for Kyrie. On the season here, with no Luka Doncic, Kyrie has 2 games, and he's had 5 assists in both of those games. So it's not like it's a lock for him to go out there and get a bunch of assists, especially when this Dallas offense hasn't necessarily been fully clicking. They've had some good games. They've had some bad games. That's kind of how they're playing as of right now. And that's the same thing they're doing when it comes to pace of play and defensive. So I'm going to trust the Knicks, even though they're on the road, to kind of control this game here. So reluctantly, give me the Knicks minus the points. I think we can wait it out and probably get 4 on some books. And then also I'm going to look at the under 233.5. Now, again, this is showing where I'm splitting hairs. If Luka was playing, I'd literally be on the over and the Dallas getting the points, right? So it's like that one piece of injury news is throwing a wrench into exactly what I probably would want to be betting in this game, but we got to take our blows as they come. So yeah, we'll take the Knicks here minus the points as well as the total. Player props, like I said, I could consider some Kyrie Irving, but he's inflated, so all of a sudden I start to jump to the under, right? You do have some EV on that under as well, so DraftKings offering it for minus 115 right now. Other sportsbooks, MGM at minus 140, Caesars at minus 139, and FanDuel at minus 132. So if you can get minus 115 for that under 6.5 assists for Kyrie, I do think that could be a good spot. A couple other player props we may be looking at here. I guess, Derek Jones. Like, there's going to be a lot of focus on guys not named Luka Doncic, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Kyrie Irving show and then a bunch of other unders around him. So that's how I would play it, I guess. All right, we got the late game. We got the Lakers taking on the Suns here. These are two teams that are just super unpredictable this season. The Lakers coming off of 2 straight wins here. They beat the Clippers, quality win, and then they beat the Toronto Raptors in a sort of thrilling down-to-the-minute win, too. Phoenix coming off of 2 losses, losing to Memphis and then losing to the Clippers pretty badly in their last outing here. This is a team that, hasn't really been all that terrible on the road or at home, if you were to kind of like, differ the two, but the Lakers have definitely been better at home than they are on the road, and they are at home tonight. I think I lean towards the Lakers to win this one. Again, the spread is only at -1, so essentially a pick 'em here. I think I lean towards the Lakers because I think they get up for big games, but again, both these teams super unpredictable. So if you came to me, if we were sitting down talking about this game, I'm not going to try and talk you into the Lakers if you're not on it, but if you like the Lakers, then we can agree on something, because I do think that LeBron and company gets up for this. Speaking of that, LeBron on the injury report. So is Anthony Davis and Cam Reddish, but LeBron and Anthony Davis always on the injury report. The most frustrating thing, I think I tweeted it out, by the way, Ev Guy Boston, following everyone back lately. I think I tweeted it out, I was like, can the NBA just stop being, pusses about this? Like stop letting guys just ride the injury report until game time. It's really, really annoying. I know it shouldn't impact anything, but it does. But nonetheless, guys, in terms of a total here, so I'm leaning Lakers. In terms of the total, 237, I could see this one being sort of a high-flying game. The only thing that makes me cautious about this is they've played 3 times this season, and we've hit 2 unders. So looking at this from that number, it's like, oh yeah, that seems a little bit high, but the Suns' defense has not been looking all that great. They've allowed 120 plus in 3 of their last 4 and allowed 130 plus in 2 of those last 4. Now, both those 130 pluses were against the Clippers, who have been playing very offensively efficient, but nonetheless, still, they're allowing plenty of points. And the Lakers, on the other hand, their defense hasn't looked all that great. So I don't think this is going to be a defensive game. I think this is going to be an offensive game. So give me the over 237 as well. Now, a couple player props I like in this spot, jumping back into Outlier. Kevin Durant over points plus assists here, 31.5. He's hit this in 3 straight games against Lakers, all coming this season. He's hit it in 80% of games on the season, right? I also don't mind his points, rebounds, and assists. I like it slightly less because look at this. This is the Lakers against power forwards, right? They're really, really weak against points and really weak against assists. Rebounds is where they kind of exceed. But if we look at rebounds separately against Lakers here, Durant has hit his rebound line in 3 straight games against Lakers. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe you could throw rebounds in there. But again, points plus assists is probably where I go in this game. And then I'll also flip it over to LeBron James. Similar stat here. I kind of like his points, rebounds, though, in this spot, but also just his points alone. He's gone for, so 3 games they played. These are the ones this season, right? 2 straight, he's gone for 30 plus here, and the Suns struggle to cover the power forward position, which, again, both these guys are like tried and true small forwards, right? But starting at the, if we flash up the starting lineups here, starting at the power forward position. So we can, for all intents and purposes, look at them as power forwards here. But again, I think LeBron and Durant, or at least one of the two, has a decent night tonight in a big sort of big vibe game. This game is a drop in the ocean in the NBA season, I guess. know, when you think about it, you know, the Lakers just got over 500. I guess Phoenix may be looking to get a win to get over 500, so maybe it means a little bit more. These two teams also 8 and 9 in the Western Conference, so maybe it does mean more than I'm giving it credit for, but it feels like it means more than it actually does. A lot of time in the season to obviously, no matter what happens in this game, either one of these teams to right the ship, but this feels like it has a little bit of that extra vibe to it, as weird as it is to say. But guys, that is going to do it for me today. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you made it this far, go ahead and comment 19.5. You made it 19 and a half minutes into the video. Follow me over on Twitter/X at EvGuyBoston. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's keep that momentum going. We had a rough start to the 2024 year, right? Like literally the year, not the season, the year of 2024. January 1st, 2024 started like a up and down little tough spot. We have 3 positive days in a row and a 6-0 sweep last night. Let's keep that momentum going. But if you don't like the picks, you hate me, you don't like my personality, my voice is annoying, feel free to fade me, all right? Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.